Hey guys, this is the mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today. I wanted to quickly share my thoughts about something I've been thinking about for a while. I've always thought about this when I was reviewing Love, Marriage, Huntsville, but I was thinking about whether or not I, and other content creators are too heavy-handed towards Arionne. We're too harsh towards her. We don't give her enough grace. We don't have empathy for a situation and so on. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm still receiving DMs from people who want me to talk about the girl. And a lot of the people who gravitated to my channel in the first place liked what I was saying about Arionne. And I felt like at a certain point it became overkill and it kind of became bullying on my part because I had already said what needed to be said about Arionne and Martel and Melody's situation. But you know, looking back at it in hindsight, I don't think I would have done anything differently because the reasons why I criticized Arionne still stand to this day. Like, I wasn't criticizing her because I was mad about something that I do not believe in. Like, I don't believe in women attacking other women for men. I don't believe in women having affairs or being mistresses for men, right? I don't think that it's fair for mistresses to attack wives and mothers because they're jealous of the situation that the wife is in. I don't subscribe to pick-meism. I don't subscribe to women who are male identified. I don't support women who are male identified. I think that that's very dangerous in situations where men are manipulative, they're abusive, they're exploitative. And so when you have women like Arionne, and not to dump on her again, I didn't have an issue with her because she was Martel's girlfriend, right? That wasn't the only reason, because there are lots of women who are side pieces, and you're not a bad person inherently if you make a mistake and have an affair. You're not a bad person if you make a mistake and become a side piece for somebody or fall in love with someone who lied to you about who they were and what their intentions were. But your character comes into question when you start to attack an innocent person and you start to antagonize an innocent person who had nothing to do with the state of misery that you're currently in. The reason why Arionne hated Melody is because Melody represented everything that she was not. And that's not Melody's fault. Like, you can't hate on somebody for being fly, right? And I'm not saying that because I like Melody and I'm a fan of hers, in a sense, right? That's not what I'm saying. If I were dating a guy, okay, and he cheated on me with somebody who looked better than me, was more successful than me, was more interesting than I am, had more to offer as far as experiences, chemistry, whatever the case may be. I cannot hate on the woman for being something that I'm not. I never understood that. I never understood attacking a woman for being a boss. I don't get it. Like, if you're beautiful and you're successful and you're hardworking by your own right, I don't attack women or I don't hate on women because of that. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, I do have a problem with women who become successful by way of doing things that are disrespectful to themselves and other women, like women who are prostitutes or women who abuse other women and take advantage of other people to become successful. I don't like that. That's a character issue. But I can't hate on a female or a woman who is more successful than me, who is more attractive than I am, who has something that I want. That's not her fault. It is not it wasn't Melody's fault that she was fly, okay? It wasn't Melody's fault that Martel wanted her more than he wanted Arionne. And Arionne took her anger and frustration out on Melody instead of Martel. That was the problem that I had with her, and that's not going to change. No matter how I feel about Melody or how I feel about Arionne and Martel, that's not going to change because that is the belief that I have. Like, I don't believe in attacking women who are innocent, number one, who are wives and mothers who are doing the best they can to take care of their families, and their husbands are cheating. Like, why would you attack the wife instead of the person who is mistreating you and lying to you? That is the problem I have with Arionne. Like, she came at Melody with so much hatred and so much ire and so much animosity. It was just mind-boggling to me that she did not see that there was an issue with her attitude and her behavior towards somebody who did absolutely nothing to her. And so I kind of had some issue with Arionne because of the pick-me mentality, the anti-woman mentality. I love it when women work together to solve problems, right? Whether it's problems of single motherhood, it's problems of domestic violence, whether it's problems of not having enough resources. I love when women can come together and work together and collaborate instead of compete with each other, compete against each other for the scraps in our community. So a lot of times these men who think they're high value, they put themselves out on the marketplace and like they're in a meat market, and they want these beautiful, successful women to clamor for their attention because they're considered the prize. So women become competitive towards each other, and they're not as supportive of each other because they think that there's a scarcity of resources, whether it's men or jobs or opportunities or I don't know, right? So a lot of women do this, and I don't support that. I do not like that behavior, period. If there's a woman who is beautiful, more attractive than me, more successful than me, that inspires me to do better. And as a matter of fact, I'm the kind of person who would congratulate a woman who is beautiful and successful and confident in herself in her face. I'll come up to her and say, wow, you have a nice outfit on today. Wow, congratulations on your success. Or wow, your perfume smells nice. Something like that. I'm not going to hate on the sidelines talking about, oh, you think you all that. Like the little slick, snide stuff that women do when they're insecure about themselves. Like I don't do stuff like that. So when I saw Arionne acting that way towards Melody, it triggered me because, you know, it was making it easier for Martel to get away with what he was doing, right? The way that Arionne was thinking about herself and Melody and her relationship with Martel made it easier to get one over on his wife. So if Arionne wasn't such a willing participant in this affair, it would not have lasted as long as it did, and it would not have ended as tragically as it had. So Martel is not with the person he wants to be with. Melody was forced to file for divorce from a husband she cared about and loved, and destroyed her family as a result. And Arionne is a baby mama to somebody who regrets being with her. Like nobody won in the situation. Yes, Melody is better off without being with Martel, but nobody really won. It was a Pyrrhic victory. A lot was lost and sacrificed for this, for things to be the way they are now. So I don't hate Arionne, and I don't think it's right to hate Arionne, but I don't think that she treated Melody fairly. I don't think that she gave Melody the grace that she deserved for being the long-suffering wife to a husband who was not grateful for what he had. And so, yeah, the fact that she attacked Melody, I think she apologized since then in some half-behind way. She apologized to Melody in a sense, or she said that she sees now how she was wrong and what she did, whatever the case may be. I do find it concerning that a lot of people hate watching Arionne, and I'm going to admit that when I first saw her, like when she first came on the scene, she was talking all this mess about Melody. I would watch her just to disagree with her and to see how outrageous she was, and I got really incensed about some of the things she said. But I stopped watching her commentary a long time ago. Like I don't really look for her videos. I don't look for any of her content because it's usually the same toxic mess, and there's something wrong with the way she thinks about life and the world and herself in general, to the point where she's okay with being the mistress of somebody who was lying to her and playing her on national TV. He played her on national TV. So the way you treat me in public is the way that you perceive me. Like I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me in public and then make love to me in private. That's not going to happen. I don't care what you say behind the scenes. Martel disrespected the hell out of Arionne in public. He's still doing it to this day. And so for Martel to call Arionne a peasant in season 1 or 2, and she still had a baby by him afterwards because he said he was sorry, like he meant what he said. He felt like she was a peasant and he treated her as such. He could have called her anything else, but he used that word for a reason. And I mentioned this before. So there's a reason why, a lot of women do have animosity towards Arionne, but I'm concerned that the hatred towards Arionne is becoming a belief system or religion. Like people are like really heavily invested in not liking this girl to the point where they'll watch her content to not like her. Like It is not funny because I've done the same thing years ago when I didn't know who she was and I was trying to figure out what was going on. But now that we know the whole story, basically, and she's not saying anything new, I would be concerned. Just be careful about watching someone with the intention of like not liking what you're saying and hating them and throwing daggers at them. At this point, if Arionne doesn't know that she's wrong for what she's done, she will probably never know until it happens to her. And if it does happen to her, then, you know, maybe she'll learn her lesson from that experience. But we can't force her to get it now, right? And we can't force her to be remorseful for what she did to Melody. All we can do is perhaps use her situation as a cautionary tale for other women who are side pieces who think that having sex with a man protects them from perhaps being murdered by a guy, or having sex with a man means that he doesn't love his wife and he's going to leave his wife. There was a story recently about another woman who was a teacher who was killed by her boyfriend who was married because she threatened to expose their affair to his wife. And I said this before, a man will have sex with you one day and he will kill you minutes later if you become an inconvenience for him. Sex does not equal love. Sex did not equal love. Martel has sex with Arionne for 7 years and he still hasn't claimed her. He still doesn't want to be associated with her the same way that he would have been associated with Youre or Melody. Like, he hasn't claimed Arionne publicly in years. I don't know why. I do know why, but that's so odd to me. Like, I would not have sex with a man or continue to be intimate with a man who was ashamed of me in public. I would not do that. And I believe Funky Daniva addressed this a couple years ago when it was first revealed that Arionne was pregnant. This is back in, I think, in December or November 2020, something like that. He was like, Arionne was stupid as hell because she was basically being intimate with a guy who disrespected her in public. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I don't know how to put my pride aside and my ego aside to the point where I'm allowing a man who's embarrassed to be with me to have the best of me, which I consider is the best of me. So, you know, Arionne has some self-esteem problems. And I don't think she's going to change her ways or her attitudes about certain things. She'll have to grow up or grow into it. A couple weeks ago, I talked about, I in the comment section, discussed the nature of Arionne's situation or her mentality, like how she came to be the way that she is. And someone in the comment section told me that she is the product of an affair with a married person, and so is her mother. So this is deeply ingrained and embedded in her psyche as the way that she should be. And I think that she has moon square Venus. So this is definitely one of the qualities and characteristics of a moon square Venus person. Someone whose ideas about love and beauty and femininity are in conflict with their sense of security, what makes them feel safe, what makes them feel feminine, what makes them feel secure within themselves. So her mother may have taught her or conditioned her, maybe subconsciously or even consciously, overtly or covertly. She may have taught her that this was the right way to be. Perhaps it was the way that she talked about the mistress, or not the mistress. Perhaps it was the way she talked about her boyfriend's wife, right? If she had an affair with a married man, was she talking mess about the wife in front of Arionne? I don't know. But it would make sense that that was the case, because I've rarely have ever heard someone as audacious as Arionne discuss Melody and Martel's situation. Like, she was very proud of what she had done, as if there was no compunction or no morals about destroying a whole family. There was nothing there holding her back. I don't know if she was like putting on a brave face because she was already in deep doo-doo and she wanted to stand 10 toes down and wanted to seem like she was in control of the situation. But it was hard for me to reconcile the idea of somebody treating the wife as if they're the mistress. Like, you're hating on the wife for staying with her husband. So she got mad at Melody for having a baby, so she had one for herself. So you're competing with the wife for what? Like, I couldn't get it. And then Melody was very gracious towards Arionne. She did not bother her to the extent that some other women would. Some women would have put a dent in Arionne's head. Some women would have hurt her badly. Okay, and I'm not saying that that would have been the right thing to do, or that should have happened. But you know, yeah, Arionne was protected a lot because Melody is not the kind of person who would want to destroy her life for somebody else who's ratchet. And so, do I think that Arionne's mother is partially responsible for the way that Arionne thinks about relationships? Absolutely. Mothers are a primary influence over their children, period, especially girls. So if you see your mother is in the streets and doing things, or she's condoning certain behaviors, or she's participating in certain activities that one would consider amoral if you had a moral compass, then the daughter doing the same thing, yeah, if I hope it's not the case, but if it is the case, then Arionne's mother failed her. And, I mentioned over a year ago having some sympathy towards Arionne because she seemed a bit delayed, or there's something, she was dissociated from herself. She seemed like she wasn't truly in her right frame of mind, or she didn't have a strong sense of self, like her identity or her ego or an aspect of who she was shattered when she was young. It was almost like having a personality disorder. I didn't know what it was then. I don't know what it is now, but there's something off about the way that she thinks and the way she speaks. Even when she talked about, like, I don't know, this the idea of allowing a man to control you to that extent for so many years. And he keeps having children with this woman who he says he's not in love with. He's doing all these things with you and taking you out to dinner and asking you to have abortions, and he's still not leaving his wife after 5 years. That's a long time to be dumb for a guy. I don't care how Martel looks. I don't care how emphatically he behaves. So one of two things happened, okay, in the situation. Either Arionne was very naive and gullible, or Martel was treating Arionne like she was a second wife, or she was really a girlfriend, which would cause her to be really, really confused because this is very manipulative. I'm giving you everything I would give somebody I'm serious about, but I'm not really serious about you though. So I can understand why Arionne would be like messed up in the head about it. But that's something she should take out on Martel, not Melody. That's not Melody's fault that Martel was giving her the girlfriend experience for the sole purposes of getting the best of her, right? If I treat her like my woman, I'll get all of her. She'll be loyal to me. She'll have my baby. She'll, defend me to the end. She'll do whatever I say. So Martel gave Arionne everything that she wanted to feel as if they were in a secure relationship. And in a way they were, but it was bootleg because he was still married to Melody. And as soon as Melody left him, he left Arionne. So it was like Martel kind of killed her off in a way, psychologically. Like, this is similar to a man, again, offing his girlfriend or unaliving his side piece after she reveals that she wants to expose their affair to his wife. Like, Martel cut Arionne off mentally like she was nothing. So all the trips and the sex and the children, he downgraded her from a girlfriend to a homie situation within a few months before the baby was even born. And then his excuse was, we're both damaged. And they were damaged before they got intimate. So he was damaged before he got Arionne pregnant. He was damaged while she was pregnant. And he was damaged after she had the baby. But all of a sudden now, he's too damaged to be with her. And she believed that. And then a few months later, or a year later, he's with Youre all over the red carpets, like, talking about how attractive she is. Like, that is a slap in the face. That's, and at some point, Arionne saw the reality of what it was, because she saw that she was not making any progress with Martel, and she was like a laughingstock for somebody who wouldn't even defend her. Like, Martel never really even defended Arionne and what he did. Like, he never even apologized to her as far as like manipulating her and dragging her through the mud and allowing her to be abused by the public the way she has. Is the flogging justified to some extent? Yes, because she was flogging Melody, but at the same time, she went through a lot from the public, including myself. I try to be a bit more tempered with my criticisms of her, because I don't see her as someone who's an inhumane demon because she's attractive and Martel was sexually attracted to her and they had an affair. I don't think that a woman is bad because she's attractive and she falls in love with a married man. That doesn't make sense to me, right? We're all human beings. We're complicated people. you know, and we have complex desires and emotions. So her falling for a married man wasn't a big deal to me. But the issue was the way that she treated Melody. Melody could have even forgiven Arionne if she had not been as disrespectful, you know, to her and her family. Like, Melody could have said, you know what? And she did forgive Martel. She was like, things happen. It is what it is. And Melody forgave Martel after she found all the receipts of their affair. Okay? Lots of receipts, pregnancies, all this stuff. Melody was like, you know what? I love my husband. I will forgive him. And so she was willing to see the humanity in Arionne and saying that, you know what? It's not her fault that she fell for him. It's not her fault this happened. It's Martel's responsibility. Martel was the one who cheated. He was the one who was married. But then Arionne took Melody's grace towards her as an affront, like, because Melody wasn't threatened by her like that. So because Melody wasn't threatened by Arionne, Arionne decided to attack her even more. Like, how dare you not see me as a threat to your relationship? Like, I'm just as good as you are. I'm as much of a boss and I'm just as fly as you are. So you should be threatened by me. And the fact that Melody wasn't, it meant that Arionne was not as dope as she thought she was, physically or socially or financially. She just wasn't that girl. And, you know, it's not personal or nothing, but there are levels to this. Like, I'm not the most attractive woman in the whole wide world. There are plenty of women who are more gorgeous than me. You have to know what your lane is. You got to stay in your lane. If you are attractive, but you don't have certain things in order, your paper, your degrees, you're not self-sufficient, then you're not going to be on the same level per se as a woman who's attractive and has all those other qualities. That's just what it is. You cannot, you know, be delusional about what your standing is. And so a lot of women who hate on beautiful, successful women are delusional about their place in the hierarchy. If you want to be at that level, then do what that woman did to get to that point. Stop hating. So Arionne was hating because Melody wasn't threatened by her. So we know, back to her mother. I don't think her mother, I don't know. Her mother could have, you know, raised her wrong. I think her mother was the one defending her in the comments when DJ Richie Sky had his live. It was like a several-hour live, and the audience, the callers were going in, and a couple of the callers were defending Arionne, like going 10 toes down. And people are like, do you not understand what this lady helped to destroy? And she was happy to do it. I can understand making a mistake and being remorseful about it. Arionne was not remorseful about the mistake that she made. Like, and that's what made it even more painful, because we all saw what Martel and Melody lost. The kids saw what they lost, right? We saw the family, the dreams, the legacy, the planning. Like, they were modeling the ideal Black family for the culture, for the community. And we wanted to see them win. Most people wanted Martel and Melody to win. Most people who are not hating on successful people who are Black wanted Martel and Melody to win. But there were some people who wanted what Melody had and felt like Martel should have been with somebody who deserved him, right? Somebody who was submissive and do whatever he wanted. And that's not what Martel wants. That's not what he wants as a wife anyway, for a wife. He wanted someone like Melody. That's why he married her or proposed to her within 9 months. He was sleeping with Arionne for 5 years before him and Melody broke up. And it's now 8 years later. They're not even out in public like that. When she's in public with him, there's a picture of her grabbing onto his neck like an alligator, you know, trying to rope him in and yoke him up to force him to claim her. And he's like, yeah, you know, he don't give her the same energy that she gives him. He does not give her the same energy that she gives him. So she's writing him paragraphs of text talking about how badly he hurt her. He ain't crap, whatever. He ain't shit. And then Martel gives her like 1-word responses. But when he and Melody are arguing on Instagram, it's all paragraphs. Like, the energy is shifted differently. The energy between Martel and Melody is different from the energy between Arionne and Martel. That's all. So Martel is feeding off of Arionne's energy, and Martel gives Melody more energy than he does Arionne, because he values Melody more. And Arionne despised Melody for that and attacked her because of something that Melody could not control. So what was Melody supposed to do? Become a lame and a bum so that Martel will leave her? That's not who she is. So women who are in that position, if your man is married to a woman who's a boss, right? Don't hate on the wife. Level up. Get yourself together so that you don't have to share a man. with a woman who is a boss. And some women say, well, if she was so much of a boss, he wouldn't be coming to me. That's not true, okay? Beyonce is the boss of all bosses. And I'm not a huge fan of her music, but Jay-Z cheated on her also. That's nothing to do with anything. A man will put his wiener in a meat grinder if it would get him off, right? Men will stick their penises in anything. There is historical evidence of this, okay? It's well documented. This is not a mystery, all right? So being sexually attractive to a man does not mean that you're of the same value as his wife. He doesn't value the same way. He will kill you. He would rather go to jail than to be with you. You understand that? So the man you're sleeping with would rather go to jail than to divorce his wife to be with you. You get it now? The man you had sex with yesterday or the day before yesterday, he would rather kill you and go to jail than hurt his wife. That's how much he values you. Do not equate sex with love, please. Okay, so just because you're sharing a man who is married to a boss woman doesn't mean that you're on that level. You're not. You're not on that level unless he leaves his wife for you. And most times he won't do that. Most times he'll be forced to leave because the wife will find out and she'll say, because she's a boss, I don't need you anyway. And more than likely he'll still smash you occasionally, but he's not going to claim you like that because you're associated with the struggle. You're associated with bad memories. Okay, you're associated with him losing his family and his wife. And so he's not going to claim you the same way you think that he will if you destroy his relationship. If he wanted to be with you, he would do that. Just like it's easy for him to cheat on his wife, it's easy to file for divorce too. It is harder to kill somebody than it is to file for divorce. It is harder to be in jail than it is to be divorced. But these men would rather kill you than to divorce their wives. Okay? Do not equate sex with love. Do not think that because you're sharing a boss man that you're on the same level as his wife. You're not. And it's not to say that you don't have any inherent value as a human being, as a woman. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a lot of women who are attractive, they think that they're on the same level or they're just as valuable as the man's wife. You saw what happened with the dude from Maroon 5. I forgot his name. He slept with multiple women, okay? And with Adam Levine, I think his name is, he had multiple mistresses. All were attractive women, right? But guess what happened? He didn't leave his wife for them. They were just there for entertainment. Most men, sex is a recreational pastime. Like women go to shopping for clothes and shoes and bags. Men feel the same way about sex. They don't really get attached to or committed to the things that they purchase to an extent. They always want something more, right? They always want a new bag, a new pair of shoes, a new outfit, a new dress. That's how some men view women and sex. So do not think that because a man is having sex with you that you mean something to him. He has to show you something or invest in you in a way that makes it seem as if he has to invest in you in a way that would indicate that he values you beyond just the physical. So is he willing to make sacrifices for you? What sacrifice did Martel make for Melody? Melody made the sacrifice. Martel was not willing to give up anything to be with Arionne. Melody made the choice to file for divorce. Martel wasn't going to do it. He was going to keep sticking his meat around with the two women. He wanted to keep both of them. So Martel was not willing to make any sacrifice for Arionne. Him losing Melody was not his choice. So people think that Martel destroyed his relationship with Arionne. No, he did not do that. Melody blew it up because she did not want to play the game because she's a boss. And she said, well, you know what? I am happier by myself than I am with this guy because I'm not validated by this relationship. I can't be validated by something that invalidates me and makes me feel bad about myself. I can't do it. So if you're in a relationship that invalidates you and denigrates you and devalues you, then you shouldn't be validated by that. That doesn't make any sense. That's counterproductive. And that is what Arionne was doing. She felt validated by a man who did not value her. So now you're stuck in this hole, this little pit of misery, and misery loves company. So Arionne wanted to make Melody feel as miserable as she did. And so she started to attack Melody, and then the public turned on Arionne because she felt entitled to another woman's husband. That is where the animosity comes from. It's not because Arionne is young and pretty. And I don't want to keep repeating myself. There are a lot of young, pretty women out there, and Arionne will be 32, 33, 32 this year. The young thing, you know, she's not old, but she's not a spring chicken anymore. She's not in her 20s anymore. She will be considered over the hill for many men. I don't think that's true, but that's just the logistics of how they're dating these days. So, yeah, it's not about young girls being attractive. Like, if you're somebody who's a side piece right now and you are having an affair with a married man, the older women are not hating on you because you're pretty and you have a nice body. The older women are warning you about the risk of throwing away your integrity and your youth and your beauty and your body for a man who does not even want to divorce his wife for you, for a man who will more than likely kill you to hold on to his family. A lot of men do this. Not all men, but a lot of them, especially if you get pregnant. Then you know you're garbage to them because now you're an extra responsibility. You're an inconvenience for them. Like, why would they get into a commitment with you if they're already committed to somebody else? They're getting all their needs met with their wife and you in tow. Why would they leave their wife who's providing them security, nurturing, consistency, support? He's invested thousands of dollars in their relationship. They have homes together, children. Why would he sacrifice that to be with you? Right? Why would he compromise that and sacrifice that to be with you? That doesn't make any sense. So as a result of that, you guys have to be careful when you deal with married men. Like Nene Leakes said before she did it herself, close your legs to married men. And it's not because we're hating on you. We want you to suffer and not have love in your life, but because we know these older men use young women like yourselves, like Arionne, for sex. And then when they're done with you, they'll throw you away and call you bitter after you learned your lesson. That said, is it completely Arionne's fault for turning out the way that she did? Of course not. Arionne's mother is partially responsible for the way that her daughter was raised, and so was her father, and so was her community, and so were her friends, and so on. She had a huge support system that condoned this behavior. Now, there are some people who are like, nah, don't do this, this ain't right. I do think that was the case, that she had people around her saying that she was doing the wrong thing. And I think that at some point, you know, her conscience started to bother her too. I do think that, like many women, our conscience is like, you know what, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. And Martel kind of convinced her to stay in the affair. There's another reason why Arionne should not have been mad at Melody, because Martel was the one who begged her and convinced her to stay. It was just bizarre to me. I wonder if she was doing Martel's dirty work for him, and I suspected that she was. I said that she was mad at Melody on behalf of Martel. So she was expressing all of the anger and resentment towards Melody that Martel could not. And I suspect that, you know, during their pillow talking sessions, Martel would complain about his wife, and Arionne felt like it was her responsibility and her duty to advocate on Martel's behalf because Melody couldn't see the prize that she had, and so therefore she didn't deserve him, and that justified Arionne's actions towards Melody. This is complicated. Like I said earlier, I don't despise Arionne. I don't want her to suffer. I really hope that she's not messing with Martel anymore. I was receiving some video messages in my DMs about Arionne being pregnant by Martel again. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to get into that. If it is true, she is a fool for doing that. She's very silly and she's self-destructive, and this is almost like sadism. This is like you're abusing yourself and allowing this man to use your body like this. And I don't know what she's getting out of the situation. I don't know what to say. I hope it's not true. I don't think it is. People just say stuff sometimes because it's salacious gossip and it is what it is. But I don't think that she's pregnant by him again. I do believe, however, that she is still intimate with him. Maybe not as much as before, but maybe sporadically. I don't know. I don't know, man. People are weird. Hopefully she's learned her lesson. Like after Martel claimed Youre, that should have been the end of it. Like after he publicly claimed someone he just met a few months earlier, and you were loyal to him, taking all these bullets for him, being disrespected on his behalf, being deceived by him, used by him, had his baby. for 7 years dating him, and then he meets somebody else, and 6 months later he's with them on red carpets like I said he would be. I said that Martel will only claim somebody who was of equal or greater stature than Melody. That's what I said way before this happened, over a year ago. Not surprising. But if Arionne was still sleeping with Martel after that, then that's on her. Like, you know, this is numbnuts right here. Like, I hope not. Like, I don't want to cock block Martel. I know they have great sex, but Arionne, if you're listening, please stop being intimate with this man, Martel. He does not want to be with you in that way. Or if he does want to be with you, right, and you can't resist him, make him prove it. Make him prove that he wants to be with you. Have him claim you in public if that's what you want. I think that's what you want, but you're afraid to ask for it because you don't think you'll get it, because you don't think you deserve it, because of how things have transpired and how Martel perceives you. And you know how he sees you based on the interactions that you've had with him, how he's treated you over the years. And again, coupled with the fact that he has never claimed you. Like, him using you as a battering ram to destroy his family is not a badge of honor. He sees you as a destructive force, if that's what he did, right? He used you as a weapon against his family, which means that he sees you as something negative that can be used to hurt somebody else. And I don't think that's who you are. I think that you are better than that. And some of my audience members will say I'm wrong. They'll jump down my throat about it. But it is 2023. And I want to put out some positive energy for Arionne and Martel. Yes, they're both people who need lots of help, and they've done a lot of wrong things in the past. But I think that they can redeem themselves by moving forward and making better choices, in the future as far as their relationships. I don't know, but hopefully, again, at some point, Arionne will stop hating Melody, and Melody will feel comfortable with the idea of Arionne, not necessarily being around her kids, but just period. Like, Melody won't be triggered by the thought of Arionne, because I don't think she is now. She may have been a couple years ago. She may have come out of that phase where she's like, you know how you think about somebody you don't want to think about, and that you don't like, and they make you feel some kind of way. Hopefully Melody's come out of that phase, and Arionne has healed from whatever trauma she's going through that would make her want to attack an innocent married woman. And and hopefully she can see Martel for who he is. I'm not saying he's a bad person, he's evil. And somebody sent me a video of Martel. Basically, he has the same therapist as Melody. I wonder if they did that for the show, like with Dr. Francis. Otherwise, I don't know why he would do that. I don't think that's a bad idea for the therapist. I think it's good for the therapist to have a profile of both Martel and Melody, so that she can counsel them in her own way using their information. But from a personal standpoint, I don't know why Martel would do that unless he still wants to be associated with and attached to Melody in any kind of way. Like, energetically, I'm going to now go to her therapist to be able to talk to Melody through the therapist. I wonder if Martel is going to try to talk to Melody through the therapist so that the therapist can run back what Martel says to Melody. I think that's a confidentiality breach. I don't think she would do that, but you never know. I don't know why he would even do that, but I don't think it's a bad idea, like from an objective standpoint, for the therapist to have two people who were once married in the same, as clients, but not together, but as separate. I don't think it's a bad thing, but why would he choose to do that unless it's for the show? And unless, Martel wants to be attached to Melody in any way, shape, or form, and that's okay. It's kind of, is it okay? Like, it's not okay, but it's going to have to be okay because Melody can't control him. Like, so as long as he's not stalking her, and he's not sabotaging her relationships with other men, and he's not sending out negative energy, and he's not doing any rituals to get her to come back to him, she should be fine. It's just that they're going to have to co-parent their 4 kids together, and so they have to be close. Like, Sugar Mama is only 3 years old. She'll be 3 years old this year, so have a long road ahead of them as far as parenting their kids. Actually, Sugar Mama is going to be 4 years old. She just turned 3 in 2022, and Knox turned 2 in 2022. He was born, I believe, in 2020, a year after Sugar Mama was born. Martel, no, was it 2020 or 2021? It had to be 2020 during the pandemic, because Melody filed for divorce, I believe, in March or April 2020, 3 months after Sugar Mama was born. So not to clock her situation in my head, but it's all over social media and it's pretty much etched in my memory. But yeah, to close this out, please stay away from married men if you are a single woman, and do not hate on the wife who's beautiful and accomplished. And even if she's not all that, do not compare yourself to the wife. Do not compare yourself to the wife. Because apparently your boyfriend values the wife in ways that you cannot see. She has qualities and characteristics that you don't have, and he's willing to stay married to her and to invest in her and to share property with her and assets with her and pension with her and life insurance with her, and he's only willing to share penis and IHOP pancakes with you. So please do not take the route that Arionne took and try to attack the wife or the mother of the children for being something that you're not. Men usually use this tactic to control the women in their lives. So he's going to weaponize you against the wife, right, to make her feel insecure about her position so she can submit to him. And he's going to make you feel insecure about the wife because he wants you to submit to him and get whatever and give him whatever he wants with little to no resistance. So he'll get everything from you. Like your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. And for what? Movie tickets, a couple of bags here and there. That's it. And then if you become too much of an inconvenience for him, he'll kill you anyway. Not all of them do it, but too many of them do. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.